What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to CM Aviation. Hope you're on a fantastic day today, and today I have a very exciting model unboxing for you all. Today we're going to be taking a look at this is the NG models 1 to 200 scale Air Canada Jazz Bombardier CRJ-200ER, and this is in their red maple leaf livery. I hope all of you are excited for this today. This was actually a really cool one that my mom surprised me with for Christmas a couple years ago. So yeah, definitely really glad to have it, and it's a very good aircraft. So yeah, I probably would have got a CRP redemption on it at this point anyway, regardless, but appreciate Mom very much. She's great at what she does, and the surprise models are always a blast. So that being said, we will not waste any further time and start here with the box. So yeah, really cool to have an NG 1-200 airliner. I definitely want to get a narrow body at some point, but obviously their box design does transition up from 1 to 400. So Bombardier CRJ-200ER, 1 to 200 scales, collectible models, die-cast metal. Here's the actual box itself. You got some dots and so forth. You got the leaf right here. You got the Air Canada Jazz CGI, Air Canada Jazz logo. Registration is Charlie Foxtrot India Juliet Alpha, and then you also have the NG models logo there as well. And yeah, another leaf kind of supplementing it there as well. Here's some looks at the box, and yeah, oh shoot, sorry about that. It's definitely a nice model. They did a very good job on it. And certainly glad to get the feature here. I'm not sure where that I think that might have been the wrapping paper, probably. That's my assumption on that. Anyway, item number is 52055. I believe this is the 20. Why do I want to say 18? That seems ridiculous, but it could have been, or it could have been like a 2021. I'm not exactly sure, but regardless, I'm very glad to have it. And certainly is a really good aircraft for the collection. So let me lower this here just a little bit so I can get a little bit better of a vantage point. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the Air Canada CRJ-200. So once again, very high quality aircraft. NG's 1 to 200 game is outmatched. You're not going to find any better manufacturer in the way of 1 to 200 production. So again, very glad to have it here, and it's certainly going to be quite an asset for a very long time to come. So that being said, we're not going to waste any further time and go ahead and take a look at this beautiful aircraft and all of its components. So let's go ahead and get started, everyone. All right, so here's the nose cone right here, and you got the windshield wipers as well. I'm gonna give you a better view. The sun sat quite a bit there on me, so there you go. You can see those windshield wipers better, and you also have the cockpit hatch there as well. Got the double antennas on the top too, so those look nice. And then you got the nose cone right here, and then you got the, I think this says Bombardier titles on it, and you got the registration number, or sorry, fleet code here as well. A couple additional details here on the nose, and you got the nose landing gear as well, so that's very nice. And you got the nose landing gear door too. I'll get you a better look at that here in a moment. It looks thinner than what it actually is. Here's Star Alliance logo, and then you got the Jazz titles, kind of like a Microsoft Paint type vibe. I hate to say that, but it's like you took a paintbrush and you can see kind of the actual like hand element to it, so it's pretty cool. Air Canada titles are more fluid and streamlined though, and you got the antennas. These are very sleek here, and I think that's a huge takeaway from the mold is how streamlined they've made it. It certainly looks really cool. So absolutely happy to see that. Star Alliance logo, once again, the Jazz titles, it starts all the way before the L1 door and goes all the way to the wing root, so that's pretty cool. And you got the Air Canada logo, like I said, and the actual maple leaf itself. The CRJ-200, 50 seats, so you're not going to be seeing any first class on this particular one, but Air Canada Jazz has certainly been through quite an interesting history. They still use the call sign, but they don't actually fly any aircraft in this livery anymore, but they had red, orange, green, and I think yellow for CRJ-200s, and they also had the toothpaste livery on like the 705, which is a shorter variant, or sorry, a more compact variant of the CRJ-900, just like the 550 is to the 700. So yeah, pretty fascinating what they've done with all the Air Canada Jazz branding, and I think they may have even had some Embraer 170s at some point. But anyway, all this looks nice. You just have, I got a handful of windows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the emergency exit window is number 8. Think of that, here it is, and you just have the little arrow there for the slide. It's not too crazy detailed, but hey, it doesn't have to be. With the lead edge lights there and the bottom antenna too. So here's the leading edge lights, looking pretty nice. And in the way of slat detail, there's not very much, but the CRJ-200 might not even have crazy slats anyway, so that's probably a component of it. Got the position navigation light, excuse me. Got the winglets, very good shape there on the winglets. NG almost always gets the molds down to a detail, and this one is no exception, so love to see that. And then here's the top of the wing. You got the red panel details on there, and you also have where the speed brakes go too, so love to see that in the black line, which is pretty cool. I think that's because of the emergency exits, I'm not sure, but it looks pretty cool. It definitely adds some nice additional elements to this aircraft. And yeah, you got the flat prong pieces right there, and you also have the actual main landing gears themselves, and they do roll very fluidly, so you love that. Overall though, let me see, is that just a piece of debris? I think that's the actual landing gear root itself. Sometimes it pops out in the tires right there a little bit. It happens to the best of us. So Can't complain too much, just an observation. But anyway, those look really nice. And again, there's some good detail there on the wing. And then you got Windows 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 behind there. So that's cool. Suggesting the 13 rows that it has. So that's pretty cool. And then the other side should have another window. Or actually, sorry, it's this side that doesn't, because the lavatory is usually right there, I believe. And the lavatory hatch should be, I think it might be that bottom one back there, but we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Taking a look here at the other side, once again, though, you got the baggage door underneath that engine, and there, like the CE34s. I'm forgetting the correct verbiage, but you all probably know what I'm getting to, so you love to see that. You got some panel detail on there as well, and another line, and then you got the registration of Charlie Foxtrot India Julia Alpha. So of course you love to see that, and you got the maple leaf back there on the tail. I love the angle that they took on it, nice and evened up there with the vertical stabilizer. So certainly love that, and it looks really cool. So very happy about how all that came together, and overall it's looking very sharp. So no complaints in the avenue of that, and overall it's looking really cool. So yeah, very nice. And you got the tail in piece there as well, so that's certainly nice. And overall I think they did a really good job detailing it up, and it came together very nicely. So how could one ever complain with how this aircraft looks? And once again, horizontal stabilizer is also looking pretty cool. All right, so the aircraft, you got the Star Alliance logo, you got the Jazz titles. This time it starts over here, of course, and then comes over. So it is pretty fascinating how that all came together. The Star Alliance logo there as well, and how the Z's, you know, are under the cockpit windows. So that's pretty cool too. Fleet code and all the good details there. And then the right side here, you have the, I'm not sure if that's like a vent or what exactly that is, but regardless of the case, that's certainly very fascinating. So we absolutely love to see that. Top of the aircraft looks very nice. Overall, really good detail, and certainly came together very nicely. So absolutely love to see that. And the bottom of the aircraft's also very nice. You got the stand hole there as well, and you got panel detail on the bottom, and all that came together very nicely. And then let me zoom in here. As I promised, there's a better look at that back door. It is bigger than what it looks, but you got the nose landing gear and then the main landing gear, which are pretty nice on this aircraft. No major complaints. You got the correct strut, and the angles also spot on. I really like that detail there on, you know, how the bogies work, and, you know, pressed down and so forth like that. So that's a really good job on the structure of that, and that certainly adds an incredible amount of detail that you don't always get in, you know, every model. So NG continues to, you know, expand their footprint with all the detail, and that's exactly what they have here with this aircraft. So yeah, another really nice offering. Definitely highly recommend it if you're interested in aircraft like this, and overall it turned out really well. So definitely really glad to have it, and Mom picked a really good one, so I appreciate her doing that. I think she was inspired quite a bit by that trip to Canada that I took in the summer of 2023, and that was just such a fun one. I'll always remember that, along with the Europe trip, around the world, you name it, Hawaii, West Coast. All these trips have been so much fun, and as I get busier and not as much opportunity to travel, it certainly makes me appreciate it even more and more that I got those opportunities. And yeah, so glad to be able to execute. And I recommend, if you ever get opportunities like that, to definitely do so as well. Traveling is so much fun. The basis of these model aircraft really start with the idea of traveling. So it is really fun, and be able to utilize and execute all that, and, you know, all of what comes with that is certainly quite a privilege. So that being said, I really hope all of you enjoyed this video today. Feel free to let me know what you think in the comments below. But nevertheless, that'll do for today's video, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe. Trust the process. Do you love and love you do. My name is CM Aviation. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon, as CM Aviation is signing off.